MOvember 2020, day 18, and I'm going to read from tonight, Help a Heal, a Carol Jurgensen Sheets, a book to help sex addicts help their betrayed partners heal from the trauma that they've caused. The tool I'm going to focus on tonight is called the AVR formula, and I'll read a little and discuss. Empathy, recognizing the pain your actions have caused her, the AVR formula. Partners consistently tell me that they want the addict to understand the depths and devastation of their pain. Although the addict is living with the pain that they have caused daily, part of the partner's healing process is to be reminded that a husband sees the pain and can link it back to the reason for the pain. This process must happen consistently for her to feel safe enough to trust the recovery process. She wants to believe that you, her husband, will never do this again, but she has no guarantee. Her heart wants to trust you, but her head and experience is telling her it is not safe to be this vulnerable, so she keeps her guard up and looks for reasons to reject your attempt at honesty and authenticity. This is going to require that you consistently practice empathy in all sorts of ways. Using the AVR assures her that you are linking up your previous actions to her feelings. It also reminds her of what you are going to do to rebuild her foundation of safety. Often in therapy, the addict needs a formula to help him respond to his spouse in a way that shows her that he realizes the damage that he has caused and how his sexual addiction has affected her. We have been trained to know that the quickest way that an addict can redeem himself and prove to his spouse that he will do whatever it takes is to rebuild the trust back, is to recognize the pain and remind her that he knows he caused it. It is then important for him to validate her feelings and make sure he can assess her feelings appropriately, and then to reassure that he will do whatever it takes to rebuild the confidence that she once had in him. So the formula itself is very simple, but it's so hard to do under the fire of the betrayed spouse being in their reactiveness, but it's an essential skill for an addict to suspend their need and move into creating safety for their partner. So the AVR formula, A, is for acknowledging the issue. Practicing AVR requires you acknowledge the situation and accompanying pain. V is for validation of the feelings using the 5 primary feelings. I can see that as you discuss that issue that you feel anger, sadness, loneliness, happiness, or fear. And R is for reassurance that you will help her heal. I want you to know that I am working on my recovery skills and that I never want to go back to the old addict behavior again. So an example of an AVR is in this book, and you can come and you can read through these. And so I won't give you the backstory, but to do an AVR, here's one example. And it's between a couple. And their names are Marla is the partner, and I'll try and find the addict's name. So the acknowledgement. Marla, you have come to this session understandably tired. I have put you through so much agony and you are exhausted. As I look at the cost benefit of our relationship, you are doubtful that you will ever be able to trust me again because I have spent so much of our life deceiving you. This has caused you not only to mistrust me, but you also can't trust your own intuition. Marla started to cry. Validation. You are incredibly sad and your whole life has been a lie, and I have shaken your sense of reality. You are not willing to keep putting out energy without proof that I am really changing. You are likely done. Marla nodded and sat with her bowed head, tears streaming down her face. Reassurance. I am sitting here wanting to reassure you, but recognizing that I need to respect your boundaries. You need to stop the therapy to honor your need for rest from this excruciating pain. The selfish me wants to tell you that I will get a second job to afford the monthly polygraph test to reassure you of my recovery, and I would do anything to make you feel safe right now. But I also want you to know that I clearly heard you say you need to withdraw from coming to therapy because it is too painful a reminder of what was and what is and what might be. Did I get that right? Marla looked up at him and shook her head yes. Tony reassured her, I will do whatever it takes to make you feel safe. Whatever it takes. The AVR looks easy, but in reality, you have so much shame and guilt for the damage that you have caused that the process can be daunting and can feel unnatural at first. The addict typically wants to go into hiding and isolate when he experiences so much pain. It takes a lot of courage and skill to practice facing your fears head on and practicing this technique even when it looks like it is not working. You have to commit to the process of empathy just like you have committed to the process of recovery. So this, in the book itself, comes with some worksheets, and the worksheets, to just give you an indication, I'll try and get this right, just are pretty simple. They get you to write out in your relationship the fear or concern, and then you acknowledge that fear, concern, and issue, you validate the feelings, and you reassure her. And the good thing about this is you get to write that down and practice it, and then do some mindfulness sort of training on how to access that at a time of stress. And what I sometimes explain to clients is that addicts, especially if they're in recovery, the hardest time to do this is when you're actually, 30, 60, 90 days, 6 months sober, 2 years sober, and there's a post-traumatic flashback. And what that simply means in the brain, as the brain sits in the head with the frontal cortex here and the limbic system in here, is that if you're an addict in recovery, you'll be functioning from here, and then your partner gets triggered, and they move immediately from here to the midbrain. And when they're in the midbrain, they now haven't got access to their sophisticated communication skills. It is fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. And generally for a partner, an adult partner that knows they're right and knows that you've hurt them, it's fight. So when they're there, we can't talk to them like they're here. We immediately have to switch tact and go to an AVR. And no matter how sober you are or how wrong this trigger might be from what's happening right now, it is reflecting a historical moment. They're literally got a feeling reality from here now entering their brain here, and we need to respond to that. And the best seat you can have in that is to stay present. Don't defend, don't disappear, and don't try and manipulate them into another reality. We simply go to these well-practiced AVRs and we acknowledge that the pain that they're in, the trigger that they're in, has been created by us. We validate the feelings instead of running from them. That takes practice for an addict who largely has a disease of avoiding feelings through intensity. And sometimes these arguments create that intensity that they can avoid through that. And then we reassure them. The caveat here is don't reassure them if you're not in recovery or you're acting out or you're still gaslighting them, because that's just more trauma. This is a tool that really does require you to be in recovery. So I hope this is useful. This is Carol Jurgensen Sheets, Carol the coach, and she is got a great profile online, lots of good podcasts and digital content. Please look her up. This book is essential if you're a man in recovery, and I would say a woman in recovery as well, that has betrayed their spouse and really wants to be part of the healing process. So, day 18, MOvember, be gentle with your heart, and I look forward to doing another video tomorrow. Take care.